everyone, this is Jen Polson. I am the founder of Jen Polson Consulting, and I am an energy coach. And for those of you who are new to that, what that basically means is that I help people overcome those hidden mindset blocks that are keeping them stuck. And so we all develop these mindset blocks from the time we are teeny tiny, and our brains just can't help it. We have these perceptions of ourselves, depending on what our experiences are, and sometimes those perceptions are positive and sometimes those perceptions are negative, and the negative ones are the ones that cause problems, and those negative perceptions get stuck in our subconscious belief because our little child brains cannot process the same way that an adult brain can. And so if someone is upset with us and yells or ignores us or something like that as a little child, then we will pick up on these beliefs about ourselves, like I'm not good enough, my voice isn't important, I can't ever do anything right. And when those things get stuck in our subconscious, then they will play out in our adult lives as all kinds of different things, like lack of motivation or a fear of stepping up into your power and what you love, or even attracting just negative experiences, like in relationships, things like that. A lot of times it will show up with people who are building their own business. Those beliefs about, well, I can't do this, no one's gonna listen to what I have to say, or nobody wants what I have to offer. All of those things, all of those beliefs and that lack of movement are an expression of those hidden subconscious beliefs. And so I wanted to share with you today, just a few tips on how to move forward in life with joy, because we all have these things. Hey everyone, thanks for joining me. Appreciate you being here. So we're just going to talk about some things about how to move forward in life, even when we have the ups and downs. And so I want to start off by telling you a story. This is a real story that happened to me, and I shared this story with a group of people that I did a session with over the weekend in California when I was at that Success Summit there. And I told the story about how one of my first goals as a business owner was to buy my own car, without any help from my husband. I really wanted to be grown up. I wanted to be a grown-up woman that just could take care of herself. And so my first financial goal, was to buy my own car. And so this happened a few years ago, and I bought my Honda Accord that I love, and about a month after I purchased it, I took my 3 girls to Utah. The 4 of us drove across the country, 2,000 miles on our own. And then we stayed there for a month, and then we drove 2,000 miles back. And not one single thing happened with that car. It was amazing, okay? The day after we get home from that 4,000 mile round trip, where we took some friends out to lunch, and we're on our way home, and I'm on the freeway, and in the area in Alabama where I was at the time, there's not a lot of room at the side of the road or at the side of the freeway to pull off if anything happened. But so we're driving down the road, the girls and I are talking, and all of a sudden I see something in my lane, and I'm looking all around me, and I realize that there are cars all around me. And as I'm approaching this thing in my lane, I realize it's this huge rock, and I would just, it's so random, right? And I'm looking around and there's nowhere for me to go. And I know that I have to go over the rock or else I would cause an accident and crash into somebody on the side, or if I slammed on my brakes or whatever. So I knew I had to go over that bump in the road. It was a huge bump. And so I did. And for some reason, I was able to stay nice and calm. And it was really crazy because right after I hit that rock, it was like all of the traffic just disappeared. And I was able to get over to the side of the road without any problem. And, you know, the wheel is making, you know, that horrible sound that it does when it's flat. And luckily, I mean, miraculously, really, I pulled off and there was an exit right there. I mean, I wasn't even paying attention. I was just trying to get out of, you know, the fast lane. And so I pulled out to the side of the road and there was an exit. I got right off the exit because there, like I said, there's really not a lot of room on the side of the freeway to pull over and be safe. And so I was able to get right off the exit and I pulled off the side of the road. And then I sat there for a second and I was like, what should I do now? And I thought, well, I could call my husband. And, you know, as soon as I thought that thought, I noticed a car pulled off and parked right in front of me. And this gentleman got out of his car and he's like, hey, I saw everything that just happened. I'd like to put your spare tire on for you. And there's a tire place right at the end of this exit. And he's like, can I help you? And I said, yeah, thank you. And so, you know, I stood out there and we chatted while he put the spare tire on my car and he finished. And I said, so can you tell me where the tire place is? He's like, oh, just follow me. I'll just lead you right there. And I'm like, okay. So I followed him and literally at the bottom of the exit ramp, there was the tire place. And so I just figured he'd, you know, leave after he saw that I got there fine. But no, he got out of his car. He went in with me to the tire place, like opened my door for me. And he said, he went up to the counter and he said, you know, she needs help with a new tire. Please take good care of her. And the whole time I'm kind of like in a daze and just like everything, just watching everything fall into place. And you know, I was pretty new in my business then, but so I was pretty careful. Like I had to watch my money and all of that stuff. But I happened to have, you know, just the right. I had more than enough money to get the tire, and everything just worked out perfectly. And I was just sat there in amazement and just kind of soaked that all in. Well, later that night, you know, as I was thinking more about this experience, I was just realizing like how amazing it was that everything just fell into place. Like I was so peaceful and so calm, and all of the pieces just fell perfectly into place where I was fully supported and I had everything that I needed when I needed it. And I was just thinking about that. And in that moment where I was like really still and quiet and just feeling a lot of gratitude, I heard God say to me, Jen, this is how you can live your life every day. And I was like, what? And I thought about what that meant. And I thought about how powerful staying peaceful was. So I just want you to think about that for a second. How, you know, if I would have been freaking out, if I would have been like, you know, upset and, you know, just all over the place, I mean, who knows what would have happened. There might have been a car accident, there might have been, I don't know, I don't even want to think about it. Because the lesson that I learned was stay peaceful and everything will work out. And so I wanted to share that with you today because, you know, so many times, you know, we have these bumps in the roads in our lives, right? Things happen, things get messed up, we get off course a little bit, our tires get flat, like whatever it is. and I wanted to share that experience because you know, as we are working towards and striving to just be peaceful in any situation, it gives us the freedom to allow that abundance to come. And abundance comes in so many forms. Abundance comes from random help off the side of the road. Abundance comes from having enough money in your bank account to cover an unexpected expense. Abundance comes when, you know, your children are in the car with you and they're witnessing you being peaceful in that situation, and they're not feeling scared, and they're not, you know, worried about getting hurt. Like, that is probably the most powerful, you know, gift of abundance there is, to knowing that our children feel confident and safe. And so that's my message for you today, is to really practice feeling peaceful in every situation. And if you feel yourself having a lot of head talk, having a lot of self-doubt, having a lot of self-criticism, you know, just take that moment to forgive yourself for having those thoughts or going there, and then state what you want to feel. You know, state, okay, I forgive myself for freaking out. I forgive myself for losing my temper. I forgive myself for, you know, making a face at the mirror at myself because I have a bad hair day. Like, whatever it is, I've had all those thoughts myself, you know. So just take that minute to forgive yourself, and then say, you know, I'm willing to just feel peaceful. I'm willing to feel connected to love. I'm willing to allow things to work out. How powerful is that? So everything that we do, like, we need to choose to stay in our personal power. So if you have a difficult time getting to that place, then, I tell this to my clients all the time, it just takes practice. Practice, practice, practice. Okay? Just practice being peaceful. There may not be any one moment that you've arrived to complete peace, because it's something that I still practice every day. I'm monitoring my thoughts and I'm monitoring my reactions. And I mean, just this morning I had a little interaction with Grace, and you know, we're driving to school in silence because we were frustrated at each other before we left. And part of being peaceful is saying you're sorry to, you know, your kids, and asking for that forgiveness. That's how you get back to peace. And so anyway, I love that we have a way, something to practice so that we can get through those bumps in the road. So one of the things I wanted to share with you today too is just an amazing experience that I had over the weekend while I was in California. It was my first time to Palm Springs, California, and I got to speak at a Success Summit retreat there with one of my clients, well, with a few of my clients, and they put on just an amazing event for their doTERRA team. And anyway, so part of what I do at retreats is if there's time, I get to do one-on-one coaching or group coaching. And one of the experiences that I had happened in a group, and it was kind of late at night. We got started at a little after 9 o'clock, and there happened to be 10 people in the group. So we went for quite a while. I think we went like an hour and a half because there were lots of people in that group. And as we were working on we were talking about, like, what are the things that are holding you back, and people just brought their hearts to that session. People were talking about, you know, how they feel inadequate as a provider, how they are afraid to speak up, how they're afraid to let their voice be heard, how they're worried about what people might think of them. And so all of these things that are really common in many different situations in life. It doesn't have to be just building a business, but they brought their full hearts forward, and there were two people in particular. There's a man and a woman in that group where they just like put their full heart out there, and we were releasing these blocks, these hidden subconscious blocks that were really holding them back from understanding their person, like their divine worth, understanding what their gifts and talents are, understanding what they have to offer, and really stepping into that. And as we were working on that, I could, for one, like I could feel like all the love that that group was sending to these two that were really, you know, struggling through a few things as they were sharing. And then as they began to just release all of the junk, all of that emotional heaviness, all of that, those old ways of thinking and believing about themselves, I actually saw a physical transformation. Their faces softened, their skin got brighter. It's like the light bulb literally went on, and their skin brightened up, and this beautiful like connection happened to love and light and the divine. And it was like they were seeing for the first time, or they were seeing for the first time in a long time, their worth as a human being on this planet. And I mean, I just sat there in awe of the physical transformation that had happened. And it was, usually I work with clients over the phone, so I don't really see that, but it was a gift of abundance, I think, was given to me to help understand that I'm in the right place at the right time, doing the right thing, and also so that everyone can visualize, everyone could see like the effects of what happens when we're ready to let go of those negative beliefs about ourselves that are holding us back. So I wanted to share that with you today, and just encourage you to keep working on your own stuff. If you need support, you know where you can find me. You can message me. You can ask questions. That's my purpose, to help people understand who they are and how much they are loved, and help them understand like they have divine worth, and that they're supposed to do something with that in life, and you all have it. So, wow, everyone take a breath. I just want to connect all of you up to that possibility, that understanding. It's not even a possibility. I want to connect you up to the reality, that you do have a divine worth, that you are here for a purpose, and that you have the guidance and support that you need, both heavenly guidance, and you've got, my team and I, when you're ready to make that move, when you're ready to make that transformation, we're here to help you with that, and it's what we do best. So I love that. Love those of you that I've been blessed to work with, and it blesses my life so much. So I'm just going to ask if anyone has any questions. I've got a couple minutes here before I have to go to my next thing. So does anyone have any questions? Or Sarah, I appreciate you sharing. Sarah's one of my clients, and she commented earlier that she didn't realize that she could be peaceful and in any situation, and I love that. It is a gift to be able to feel that way. So anybody have any questions? Anybody have anything that they need a little emotional support with? So I can have a few minutes. I can do that. I can clear some blocks. Y'all are being a little quiet today. This is your chance. You got me for 5 more minutes. Okay, everyone just take a breath, and let's connect everybody to, okay, Sarah's saying self-doubt. Okay, that can be a big one. I want to, that feels really generational to me. So if you guys have noticed, like, the people in your family doubting themselves, and kind of downplaying their gifts or downplaying who they are, that can be a pattern that's passed down generation after generation. So let's go ahead and clear that generational pattern of self-doubt and talking negatively about yourself. So take a big breath on that. Thanks, Julie. Thanks for being here. And Angela and Crystal. Okay, so if you guys, those of you who have essential oils, one of the things that I tell my clients all the time, patchouli for that negative head talk is a must. That can be your new best friend, okay? Oh, I love what Angela said. Nearing Mother's Day, I hope that I've been the mother my children needed. I'm so glad you brought that up. That can be such a big trigger for us. And it also can bring up, it also can bring up a lot of negative feelings of resentment towards mothers, depending on what your situation was growing up. And so let's just clear any energy around that mother-child relationship, any negative energy, any doubt around that, any doubt that, let's see, how do I want to say that? We want to clear any blocks around knowing that you are worthy and deserving of being loved to the fullest, no matter what your childhood experience was. Okay, so take a big breath on that. Okay, good. Oh, that was a good one. That just gave me chills. Okay, and Kim said, finding the right place I'm supposed to be to teach next year. Okay, let's take a breath and just connect everybody to being in the right place at the right time. Take a breath on that. But then also I want to clear any blocks around trusting your divine intuition, like trusting in the answers that you're receiving, and really pay attention to those. We're going to clear blocks around being able to allow, accept, and receive those divine answers. So take a breath there. And this is so important for so many aspects of life, just really being able to trust your ability to receive that divine inspiration. Oh, Heather's been using her patchouli. Awesome. Okay, let's see. What else? Okay, so one little activity or exercise that you can do to just help process the self-doubt is write down, like get a piece of paper, fold it in half, and write down on one side like all of the self-talk, okay, all of the negative self-talk. And then on the opposite side, write the truth. Okay, so how do you get to the truth if it's your negative self-talk? The way that you do that is just take some quiet time and you ask. So if your truth or if your negative head talk is, I don't know enough to be successful at whatever at this. Whether it's parenting or your job or business or a relationship. So just write that down. I don't know enough, or I'm afraid I don't know enough. And then I just want you to ask, and for me, I ask God. So whoever that is for you, ask, what's the truth? What's the truth about me? And then whatever comes to your mind, like don't judge it, just write it down. And then go to the next one. So just make that list. And then when you're done getting the truth and hearing the truth about all of your negative head talk, then you throw away that one half of the paper. Burn it, throw it away, whatever you want. You just get rid of it. And with that intention that this is no longer part of who you are, but that truth that you have written down is who you are. Okay? All right, we've got a few more Okay, so Julie, okay, this morning my scripture study centered on being filled with joy. It's such a cool thing that it's what you're talking about. Oh, cool. Yay, I love that. Everything falls into place perfectly, doesn't it? It's all connected and it just works out perfectly. Okay, all right, and then Sandra, feeling like I'm good enough to mentor my peers. Okay, that's a great one. So let's connect everybody up to their natural gifts and talents and understanding that no matter what, you are good enough. And good enough doesn't mean perfect. Okay, we don't have to be perfect. We're all here learning and growing and developing. And one of the things that we're here to do is learn how to let go of judgment. Let go of judgment of others, let go of judging ourselves of not being good enough, and let go of worrying about other people's judgment. Okay? So remember, other people's judgment is their business. Okay, that's kind of a new concept for somebody else, you know. And so I want to connect you to the idea that nobody else defines you except you and God. Okay? That is constant. People's opinions of us are always changing. And sometimes they're good and sometimes they're not so good. That's not our business. That's not your business. Your business is to understand how God feels about you and to be an instrument in His hands. So what if, you know, it's not that you are a mentor, it's that you are, you know, a messenger from God. Totally takes the pressure off of you, right? So you're just showing up and loving people. That's a basic need that everybody has. Everybody wants to feel loved, and they want to feel heard, and they want to feel like they're being seen. So if you can do that as a mentor, just love, see, and hear that person, then you've already done an amazing job. And then you fill in the gaps with all of your amazing knowledge and experience. So, okay, anyway, all right, you guys, I've got my team meeting to go to, so I'm meeting up with my amazing coaches. Hey, Christy, thanks for joining. You guys are so amazing. Thanks for coming and commenting. Yeah, so I will look forward to seeing you here next week, and thanks again. If you would like any additional information, please message me. If you have some extra support that you need, I am here for you. My team is here for you. We love you guys, and yeah, jenpolson.com. Check it out. Thanks.